In the bustling city of Asaba, a story unfolded that reminds us that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they are the quiet ones, the ones we least expect. When Isioma first walked into Chiamaka's home, everyone thought she wouldn't last a week. She was quiet, almost invisible. Her hands fumbled with chores, and she seemed far too timid for a household buzzing with the energy of 4 children. But they had no idea. They had no idea that this shy, unassuming girl would become the greatest blessing their family ever received. One bright morning, Chiamaka walked into the baby's room and froze, but it wasn't a gasp of fear. It was a moment of sheer, heart-stopping realization. There on the floor sat Isioma, playing with her 6-month-old son, Uche. Sunlight streamed through the window, catching the warm, genuine smile on her face and reflecting in her gentle eyes. In that single, perfect moment, Chiamaka knew Isioma wasn't just working for them, she was becoming part of them. Little did she know what would happen next would prove just how extraordinary this quiet girl truly was. Chiamaka appeared to have it all. As the founder of Crystal Gate Digital Hub, her business was thriving. She had a supportive husband, Uche, and 4 beautiful children who were her world. From the outside, her life looked perfect. But on the inside, she was drowning, juggling the demands of a growing company, and the beautiful chaos of motherhood was taking its toll. Her mornings were a frantic race against time, her evenings a blur of exhaustion. She was living in constant survival mode, always one step behind. The breaking point came when Uche fell sick overnight. Chiamaka had to cancel a crucial meeting with potential investors, a meeting she had prepared for weeks. The guilt and stress were overwhelming. That evening, as she sat in the quiet of her living room, she finally admitted it to herself and to Uche. She needed help. And that's when Isioma entered their lives. She was shy, reserved, and her confidence was barely a whisper. The first few weeks were not easy. She wasn't a perfect maid by any stretch. Meals were occasionally burnt, cleaning products got mixed up, and she once took an iron set to the wrong temperature to one of Uche's favorite shirts. But here's what set Isioma apart. She never gave up. With every mistake, she offered a quiet apology and a promise to do better. And she always did. She learned with a humility that was both touching and inspiring. Slowly but surely, the children, who were initially wary of this new person in their home, started to warm up to her. The house, once a whirlwind of organized chaos, began to feel more peaceful, more settled. And for the first time in years, Chiamaka felt the heavy weight on her shoulders begin to lighten. She could breathe again. Every night, without fail, Chiamaka would pray over her family. She'd pray for protection for her husband and children, for wisdom in her business, and for peace in their home. And every night, she included a special prayer for Isioma. She asked God to strengthen the quiet girl, to give her confidence, and to help her grow. Chiamaka never sensed anything remotely malicious about Isioma. Instead, she felt a quiet sadness radiating from her, a hidden pain she couldn't quite understand. But while Chiamaka prayed for protection from unseen dangers, she had no idea that a very real threat was already lurking in the shadows, and it wasn't Isioma. A strange man had been watching the house. For weeks, he had made it a habit to linger near the front gate. He was there when Chiamaka left for work in her car. He was there when the older children came home, their laughter echoing down the street. He was a ghost, blending into the background so well that the neighbors never noticed him. But someone did. Isioma noticed him. Whenever she stepped outside to hang laundry on the line or fetch water, she would see him. He'd be pretending to check his phone or leaning casually against a parked motorcycle, but his eyes were always fixed on the house. His presence sent a chill down her spine. She wanted to say something, but she was afraid. Afraid Chiamaka would think she was being paranoid, imagining things. So she kept her fears to herself, holding them tight in her chest. One afternoon, the calm of the day was shattered. Chiamaka had just dropped the older children off at school for their afternoon lessons, leaving Isioma at home alone with baby Uche. She was sweeping the living room, humming a soft tune, when she heard it. A soft metallic click from the back of the house. The sound was small, but its implication was huge. Her heart began to pound against her ribs like a drum. Someone was inside the compound. Thinking fast, her first instinct was to protect the baby. She gently placed a sleeping Uche in his crib, quickly locked the bedroom door, and then, taking a deep breath, she tiptoed towards the kitchen, and there he was. The strange man from the gate stood in the middle of their kitchen. He was in his mid-30s, wearing a black hoodie that shadowed his face. But his eyes were visible, and they were cold, hard, and focused. This was no friendly visitor who had lost his way. This was not a joke. He had broken into their home. In that terrifying moment, Isioma didn't scream. She didn't run and hide. Her mind raced, and her eyes scanned the room for anything she could use to defend herself. Her hand landed on the heavy wooden mortar used for pounding yams. She grabbed it, her knuckles white. "What do you want?" she whispered, her voice trembling but firm. The man didn't answer. He lunged at her, expecting this small, skinny maid to cower in fear. He was wrong. Isioma swung the heavy mortar with all the strength she could muster. It connected with his arm with a sickening thud, then again with his ribs. He staggered backward, his face a mask of shock and pain. He couldn't believe it. This timid girl was fighting back. Before he could recover, before he could lunge again, Isioma shoved him with all her might. He stumbled out through the back door he had entered. She slammed it shut, her hands shaking as she fumbled with the lock. She stood there, trembling uncontrollably, as she heard his footsteps sprinting away. When Chiamaka returned home, she found Isioma still shaking, her face pale. Baby Uche was sleeping soundly in his crib, completely unaware of the danger that had just passed. The kitchen was only slightly disturbed, a chair knocked askew. At first, when Isioma recounted the horrifying event, Chiamaka struggled to believe it. It seemed too dramatic, too unreal. But then, the pieces started to fall into place. The neighbors, when asked, confirmed seeing a man lurking around earlier that day. Then Uche checked the gate's security camera, and there he was, the intruder's face, clear as day. The final confirmation came from the police, who reported that a man matching his description had been responsible for a string of break-ins in the area. From that day forward, Chiamaka saw Isioma in a completely new light. She was no longer just the maid. She wasn't an employee, she was a guardian, a protector. Uche, a man fiercely loyal to his family, developed a deep and profound respect for Isioma. There was no misplaced attraction, only immense gratitude for her courage. The children, sensing the shift in the household, adored her even more, clinging to her as their personal hero. Every night, Chiamaka's prayers were filled with a new kind of thankfulness. She thanked God, not for sending her a perfect maid who never made mistakes, but for sending her a brave one who would risk her own life for her family. But little did the family know, this incredible act of bravery was only the beginning. It was just the first chapter in a much longer story of how far Isioma's loyalty and her courage would truly go. If you were moved by this incredible true story, make sure you subscribe to African Folktales by Moonlight. We bring you more true, inspiring stories of courage, faith, and the extraordinary human spirit from all across Africa. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a tale that will touch your heart. Thank you for listening.